Alright, so this video is going to cover the speed formula triangle and how to calculate speed. So let's start just by defining speed. Speed is something that you've dealt with all of your life. You've dealt with it with a car, maybe an airplane if you've been on an airplane, running, anything like that, you've dealt with speed. Speed requires two things. So think about what those two things might be. In order to get a speed, you need a distance and you need a time. So when we use those things, we can actually plug them into our formula. So a nice, super simple definition for speed would be how far something goes in a certain time. Okay? So this is how far something goes in a certain time. And that makes sense because a lot of people might define speed as just how fast something goes. And to figure out fast, you're going to know how far, which is distance, and you know how long, which is time. So let's link it to something we know in real life. In real life, we've dealt with speed of a car. And a car measures speed as, and then you know this, what are the units that cars measure speed in? Miles per hour. So this is something you're very familiar with. You've been dealing with miles per hour probably since you've been old enough to talk. You've been in a car, you've talked about how fast cars go, miles per hour makes sense. But when we look at this unit, we actually spell it out. I said speed requires a distance and a time. Well, miles is an example of a distance, and an hour is an example of a time. But what does per mean? Per actually has a definition, and when you use it in math class, anytime you see per in a word problem, you do a certain kind of math. You do division. So you divide. So when you see miles per hour, you should be thinking distance divided by time. Something to help you remember that, just in general. So now we're going to actually write the formula, and we're going to look at the formula for speed. So the formula for speed is speed equals distance divided by time. Or a nice easy abbreviation, S equals D over T. This is what you would see on a formula chart, like for a test. Okay, so you need to know what those things stand for and what they mean. So easy version, longer version. Now, when we look at these things, we need to understand that all of these speed, distances, and times come in units. Units are the things you put at the end of a number to know what it is. So when I talk about distances, we're talking like miles, meters, kilometers, centimeters. Times, we think seconds, minutes, hours, maybe even days. Speeds are going to be combinations of distances and times. Miles per hour, meters per second, kilometers per hour. So we're going to take the distance units and combine them with the time units. So nice, simple, easy example here. Let's say whenever we calculate speed, we're always looking for three things. We're looking for a distance, we're looking for a time, and we're trying to figure out the speed. So let's just say hypothetically, we'll start with a super simple example. If I wanted to go 100 miles, and I wanted to do it in 2 hours, what would my speed be? Well, I'm going to come back here, I'm going to look at my formula. Speed equals distance divided by time. And I'm going to set it up. I'm going to plug in my distance, 100 miles. Notice I am writing my unit. I'll tell you why here in a second. Divide it by my time, 2 hours. 100 divided by 2 is 50. And then I need a unit. I need to know what. It's 50 what? Well, the unit is actually right here. Writing it down actually gives you your unit. So when it's right there, it's miles over hours, or miles per hour. So unit, miles per hour. Easy, right? So to solve for speed, it's just distance divided by time. Let's do one or two examples straight off of your homework. So this is straight off the practice page. It's number 1. You've been given a distance. You've been given a time. We need to find a speed. Formula is speed equals distance divided by time. My distance is right here, 90 meters. That's what the M stands for. My time is 15s, or 15 seconds. And when I do the math, 90 divided by 15, you use a calculator if you absolutely must. So 90 divided by 15 equals 6. 6 what? 6 meters over seconds, or meters per, because we divided, second. So it was easy peasy, right? Okay, I'm going to double check the next one. No, that one is a little different. That one we're actually solving for time. So we're going to do a little different. So what if, hypothetically speaking, what if I've been given an example, but instead of looking for speed, what if I'm looking for distance? So like, my distance is unknown, and my time might be something like 3.6 seconds, and my speed might be something like 9 meters per second. Well, how do I find the distance? I've been dividing everything up to this point. So this is where the formula triangle actually comes in. So if speed equals distance over time, my formula triangle helps me figure out what kind of math I need to do to solve for something other than speed. So I have to solve for distance, or I have to solve for time. This will help me good. So I'm going to take my formula here and I'm going to plug it into the triangle. Distance is over time here, so I need distance over time in the triangle. So that means distance has to go on top. Time has to go on bottom. And then the only thing that's left is speed, so I'm going to put it in the empty spot. And this is how the triangle works. If I'm looking for distance, I'm going to cover distance up. And when I cover it up, I'm left with speed and time. Speed and time are right next to each other. Because they're next to each other, I'm going to multiply them. Speed times time gives me distance. You can actually use this triangle for any piece. So if I'm actually looking for time, I would cover up time. I would get distance divided by speed, because distance is on top of speed. And then if I need speed, I can cover up speed. Distance is on top of time, so I would divide distance by time. And so you can actually mark it on your triangle. And I highly recommend you write this down and mark it. When I have distance and time, I divide. When I have speed and time, I multiply. When I have distance and speed, I divide. But for this particular example, I'm looking for distance, cover up the distance, multiply speed and time. So distance equals speed times time, which is, plug in my numbers. My speed is 9 times my time of 3.6. And that equals, and I'm coming up here and do it, 3.6 times 9, and, oops, 54, 9 times 3 is 27, 29, 30, 32. Decimal, don't forget your decimal, so 32.4. Kind of messy down there. There we go. 32.4, but now we need a unit. It's 32.4 what? Well, I'm looking for a distance. And to find the unit, I can go to the speed. Speed gives me both the distance and the time unit. And I want to know which one's the distance unit. Well, the distance unit in this case, because seconds has to be time, my distance unit is m. So my distance is 32.4 meters. That's how far I would go. All right. Let's do one more example, and on this example, we'll try to find time. And that's actually one of the ones on your homework. This is 32,000 meters, so it's a distance I've been given. 800 meters per second, that's a speed I've been given. Now I need the time. So I'm going to use the formula triangle. Speed, distance, time. What am I looking for? I'm looking for time. So I'm left with distance over speed. So I'm going to divide distance by speed. So time equals distance over speed. Plug in what you have. 32,000 divided by 800. And when you actually do the math on that one, 32,000 divided by 800 is 40. So your time equals 40. But it's 40 what? Go to your speed as meters per second. Meters is a distance, seconds is a time. I'm looking for time, so my unit will be seconds. Okay, so that should help you get through the first 10 really easily on your homework. The last thing I want to point out, this is number 11. Number 11 on the homework says a runner completes a 10-kilometer jog or 10-kilometer run in about 1 hour and 30 minutes. What was the runner's speed? What is the runner's speed? And it's real specific. It wants it in kilometers per hour. And because I'm in kilometers per hour, the distance I've been given is 10.0 kilometers, which is good. But my time was given as 1 hour and 30 minutes. Your answer unit must match your problem unit. And because these don't match, I have to do a conversion. I have to turn minutes into hours. And this is really easy to do. 30 minutes is how much of an hour? It's about half of an hour, right? But we don't like fractions, so we turn the fraction into a decimal. Half is about 0.5. And so 1 hour and 30 minutes would actually be 1.5 hours. Okay, now I know enough that I can actually go in and figure out the speed. So speed equals distance divided by time, which in this case is distance is still 10. But my time, instead of 1 hour and 30 minutes, is 1.5 hours. And when you do the math, 10 divided by 1.5 is 6.67, rounded to 2 decimal places because it's 6 repeating, kilometers per hour. If you have any questions, please come see us. Talk to you soon.